Hey guys, Chris here again for RoofWebs.com. Today we're going to be looking at how to change the colors of your website. You'll see that where the red is at the top there, it actually flows through to the rest of the site as well and shows up in different places. You can actually change this theme color by changing a couple of the settings in the back end. Now on this sample you'll see, this demo, it actually has the color chooser over here on the left hand side. Now that is not a permanent change, therefore we disable that option before we ever launch it, and so you will not see that on your website. Let's go over to the back end. We'll go ahead and log in here and we'll get started. Now we're going to be working under the extensions drop down here where we were in modules before in previous videos. This time we're going to be working in the template manager. Now before we go any farther, I want to mention that if you don't understand what you're about to change, you see a setting or something that sounds good and you want to play with it and see what it does, I don't generally recommend that you do that. Check with us before you do those. Make any changes that you don't understand. And we're going to be working in the ionosphere default. You can see it here as it was on the outside. And I went a little fast, so we'll back up and show that to you. It's the one with the master next to it. These others are override templates. I generally don't recommend that you mess with those at all. So we'll go back in here to the ionosphere default or the master template. Now right here on the very first page, you're probably going to come up in the overview when you open yours, but I've recently had this one open, so it saved it where I landed in style. We'll click on this little button here. The accent color, you can see this red is the same as the red that's on the front of the site. And then the body style and the background style match what is here. Now you can also change this background graphic, and there's a pattern that's back there by choosing a different pattern here. What I recommend is that before you make any changes to any of these colors, write down these color codes just in case you get to a point where you're like, oh man, I've gone too far and I don't remember where I started. That way you can revert your site back to a place where it was previously. Just write down accent color and then this color code BF0000, then you can just type it back in there, save it, and it'll actually it'll revert it back to where it was. Now with the color chooser, if I click on this box, the red color, I can drag this and you'll see this color changing in this box as well if we want to go really dark. And you can take this slider here and slide it so that you have different options. And it runs through, you can practically make any color that you want to by using this slider. If you do know the hexadecimal code for a certain color, you can type it in right here or right here. It does the same thing. Once you've found the color that you want, then you can just simply click the X and click Save. Now up here it says the template settings have been successfully saved into the database. We will refresh this page and it should come up blue, and it does. So we want to revert that back to where it was before. Now I've already saved that color code, at least I think I did. I did indeed. And we close this out, click Save, and that takes care of that. Now it'll be red back on the front end when we refresh that page. And there you go. So back here on the back end, you have different settings over here, and if you hover over each one of these, you'll see that it gives a little description of each one of them. You have different tabs for features and that sort of thing. I want to point out in this video, since we're working in the template now, these icons, the Twitter, the Facebook, and the Google Plus over here on the side, those are handled in the template settings under social buttons under the features tab. So right here you would put a direct link to your Twitter, a direct link to your Facebook account, a direct link to your Google Plus, which for some reason they call it the buzz link. And you could also do an RSS feed link, which we don't typically set up. You can turn on the date. You can do all sorts of things in here. But again, if you don't understand what it's going to do, I typically recommend that you just leave it alone or call us and ask us, what is this setting for? Generally, we'll be able to tell you what that is. There are different tabs up here you can play around with. The positions or the layouts tab here, which control the positions, if I were you, I wouldn't change any of those because it can have some pretty drastic effects on the front end again, just call us if there's something that you need to accomplish. We'll typically walk you through that process or do it for you. That'll pretty much do it in the back end. Again, play with these, but write down your settings. Write down your color for your accent. If the overlay is dark, write down the color for body style. Overlay is light, etc., etc. And that should get you fully versed in changing the colors on your site. If you do have any questions, pick up the phone and call us at 800-761-3560 or email us at sales@roofwebs.com.